So IGN's review discussion of Fallout 4, continuing here with the question, how does having a voice affect Fallout 4? For the first time in the series, Dan, you reviewed the game. We've got a voice now.
Right. I don't think it added much. Like, the only thing it really added was I didn't have to strain to read from across the room when I was playing on the couch, which is, it's nice. But it does take away from the ability to kind of put my own voice, the voice in my head, on my character, because like you can make a pretty radical range of characters. And it makes it harder to imagine that your character is kind of like, what if I wanted my character to talk like Christopher Walken?
Well, can you please do that? I'd love to hear that.
I actually liked it. I thought it was really helpful. We were talking before about how the performance is, I don't want to say bland because that's sort of a pejorative term, but it's relatively flat. And I feel like it sort of has to be. Like, Luke Skywalker is not as interesting as Han Solo, and Harry Potter is not as interesting as Hermione, right? Like, I feel like sort of the character that you're meant to inhabit and invest yourself in has to be a little bit of a blank slate.
Batman syndrome, everybody around you is more interesting than you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I felt like in terms of the quality of the storytelling, it made it feel more natural to me that my character was also talking to everybody else, as opposed to just sort of sitting there silently in a game like, Fable did that, right? Like, where your character doesn't really say a lot.
Right. I think, just to tack on, I think it may have had a negative impact on the way the dialogue works, in the number of options of responses you have, because they're limited to 4 now. Sure. It's a very Mass Effect style thing. Right. Which, I would have liked to have seen more like skill specific dialogue options, and now that like there's just charisma sometimes. Right. I would have liked to have seen more of that. I don't think it really hurts it really bad, but if I have a choice between those and voice, I would choose the options.
What about you, Miranda?
I liked having the voice. I don't have to choose the voice to make it feel like my character still. I think the visual customizations for that really is what matters to me the most. And I do agree that the blank slate is the easiest to go, so that way it's a little bit easier for all characters or all people to kind of feel like this is their character still a little bit. Right. But I agree with you, Dan. It would have been nice to have a little bit more options that utilize your specific skills more often.
Or that trade on your reputation.
Right. Yeah. Like,
there's
it would
no
be
karma
kinda cool.
system in Fallout 4.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. So it's like, well, I guess I'm good because my companion says I've been doing well.
Yeah.
So
the companions are kind of a built-in karma system where like a person who's a goody two-shoes will like when you do good things, and a person who is not will like when you do not great things.
It's very like a BioWare game in that respect.
Yes.
The companions are meant to be sort of like this, like a Greek chorus, kind of commenting on the choices that you're making.
Oh, you just made me so happy with that analogy. As for me, everybody can just shut up in video games. I'm always happier if I have text at the bottom. If nobody ever talked in a game again, I'd be great with it. Except for Telltale games, I usually like them there for some reason.